Hey, welcome back to the Million Dollar Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Jody Sedini. And if you've ever wondered what it really takes to scale a business to high ticket success, this episode is for you. So I've got a powerhouse guest here with me, Bart Miller, also known as the Billion Dollar Cowboy. And we're going to dive into that a little bit and dissect that. But Bart is a business coach, an entrepreneur, a branding genius who has helped countless business owners, break through those limiting beliefs that we impose on ourselves and build wildly profitable businesses. So, I love talking about marketing and ads. And here's the thing, ads can only amplify a business that's built on the right foundation. That's super huge in what we're talking about, that ads are only a feeder into a system. And that's exactly why I wanted to bring Bart on this show today to talk about what it takes to create that foundation, how to scale without burning out, and why personal branding is more important than ever in today's busy social media feed. So grab your coffee, put in your AirPods, and let's dive in with the Billion Dollar Cowboy himself. Welcome, Bart, to the show.
Thank you. I should have worn my cowboy hat and stuff today. I'm sorry. I should have been dressed different, but here I am.
Well, I mean, every cowboy takes off his hat every once in a while, right?
Once in a while. Right. That's right. Thank you.
Well, let's start with your journey. I'm super curious. You've built a name for yourself as the Billion Dollar Cowboy. Tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get into entrepreneurship? And then what led you to where you are today?
So that's a pretty lengthy story, but I'll kind of cut it short. Is that I really knew I was not hireable, and so I was in college, and I'll never forget. I was with an amazing professor, and I love this individual. He was a great professor, and he was there, and I asked him. I said, why are you not out in the world doing this? But you're here teaching us. And he was so amazing. He just looked at me. He goes, Bart, it's because those who can do and those who can't teach. He goes, I have these things, but I love teaching it. And I love all that. But I just, I was in the world and it beat me up a lot. And I'm here. And something come across me that day. And I literally just shut my book. I got up in that class and I left and never went back to school again. And I came home and I said, we're going to do something different. And my wife was like, at that time we were, she didn't know what we were going to do. And neither did I. But I knew that I had more in me and I could do. And it really set the tone for me to do. And so that's taken multiple years of ups, downs, failures, successes, all that kind of stuff to get where I'm at today. And I do have the title as the Billion Dollar Cowboy. That came because that is one of my personas. And what a lot of people don't realize I do is I teach how to become a magnetic self. So if you take Marilyn Monroe, for example, that's not her real name. Her real name is Norma Jean. If you take Beyonce, she's Sasha Fierce. If you take Bo Jackson, he's Jason. There's all these people, but we don't realize that they're the same people, but they've created a new identity. They've created a new way of portraying themselves out to the world so they can bring their superpowers out. And it's real easy for people to understand Spider-Man is Peter Parker. Is he Spider-Man 24 hours a day? No. He's got two different personas that he lives. So that's where the Billion Dollar Cowboy came from. If you know me in the cycling world, I'm called the Goat Man. If you know me in pickleball, I'm called something different. If you know me, so I create different personas based on the outcomes that I want. And I step into those identities which is still me, but to leave some of the other things behind, because in that situation, it gives me the power to do what I want to do. So that's how I became the Billion Dollar Cowboy. Successes. I mean, I've ran all sorts of companies. I've sold companies. I've been in brick and mortar way before I was ever in the online space. I got in the online space it's been at least 20 years ago. And we created an online makeup school. Was my very first adventure I did.
Makeup?
The first part of it was a failure. Redid it all. That's called the Robert Jones Beauty Academy. So if you go to robertjonesbeautyacademy.com, you'll see that makeup school there. And then that was been private labeled for all the Paul Mitchell schools nationwide. And then I created multiple e-commerce brands and things to that nature. But anyway, it's not about me. It's really about you as the listener. And so I really want to dive into how do I take you to that next level? How do I show you from my failure, things that have helped? How do I help you bridge that gap? So that, whatever you want to go from there, Jody, that's a little bit of my entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. The personas and like stepping into and leaving behind things that you don't need or that won't serve you in that particular like bucket of your life. I think about that. And it's interesting. I've had that mindset of like, I can set this aside to step into this role, right? Like as CEO, as Facebook ads powerhouse, I can step into this role and not think about all this other crap I've got going on because I've completely stepped into this other role. And it's almost been frustrating for some other people. Like, I don't understand how you can just set all that aside and forget that this is going on and then like step into that role. I'm like, how can I not? How can I not? I kind of have to. So, all right, time out. I dropped something.
You're good. No worries.
Okay. Because I have to get back to my notes here.
Good.
All right. So yeah, you've overcome then a lot of mindset blocks, a lot of shifts, stepped into like high level leadership skills and high ticket thinking. And that does, of course, lend itself into coaching other people. So you've coached entrepreneurs at some of the highest levels. What are some of the biggest mistakes that you see entrepreneurs making when they're trying to scale?
When they're trying to scale. Number one thing is they don't have their story. It was really funny. I'll start with a lot of high-end entrepreneurs, and they are in a red ocean strictly because they're competing in the red ocean on themselves. When I step them back and I say, what I really want you to do is think about what is your story? What is your unique story authentically? And then the other part is then I step from there to what's your why? So if I was coaching you, Jody, I'd say, why do you believe this to be true? Now, what most people don't understand is a why is a belief. So in my life, I have a belief that people have the right to architect their life by design. And if I can show them that, their entrepreneurial world opens up. But what happens to 99% of the world is their life is being architected for them because of their beliefs, because of other things. They're letting the world architect and design their life. They haven't stood back and said, I'm in charge. This is my experience on this earth. Therefore, I get the privilege of architecting my life by design. And when they have that aha moment, it's like, whoa. I've never taken a few minutes to architect my life by design, let alone my business. And what most people do is they architect their business first, life second. What my wife and I have done is we architected our life first. That's our North Star. Then we architected our business. So that's that. Then you got to create the story around that if you want to be in high ticket. Because see, we don't buy products. We solve pain and we buy stories. We buy outcomes. Everybody knows. I mean, that's this podcast is all about it. So I'm not going to dive into that. But what's the number one mistake, as you ask, is number one, Jody, is people don't know their why they're trying to sell. And number two is they have no idea that their story is their freedom, that their mess is their message. And when they fix those things and you run ads to that and you see them in their vulnerable states, you see these things, all of a sudden it's like, what the heck? Because see, then I'm not competing against you. I'm competing against my North Star. I'm doing this where I want to go. Therefore, the noise doesn't matter. Whatever everybody else is doing doesn't matter. It's my company. Does that make sense? I don't know if that was helpful for anybody, but.
All of that makes sense. It was helpful for me. I feel like go ahead and preach to me and let other people listen in, right?
Let's go.
Yes, let's go. I love what you said. I feel like I can distill part of that down into there are those people that have that mindset of like life happens to me versus like I can dictate what happens in my life by, taking action, by being ambitious and like going after it. I don't have an issue with that life happens to me mindset. I cannot live that way. That feels like death to me. But it's so interesting as an entrepreneur in the wild when we're out with other normal people that are working their 9 to 5, they can't wrap their head around that. They are stuck in that mentality of life happens to me. I don't, I'm just working the grind 9 to 5. I get the paycheck and I'm like, whoa, how do you survive like that? I couldn't imagine. But man, everything you said hit home the vulnerability, the sharing your story, the all of that. That's been coming up for me a lot in other interviews and other conversations with people. And as an Enneagram 8, vulnerability is super hard for me, but I'm learning
Oh,
that that's probably the
100%.
next level of where I need to go, is being more vulnerable.
Yeah.
So, and vulnerability is different than authenticity.
Amen.
I am able to show up very authentically and like be who I am, but sharing some things vulnerably, mm, it's a
Yeah.
work in progress.
Well, it was
So,
tough for me too. Let me be clear. I'll share a quick story if you don't mind. But like,
no.
I was raised in a very traditional religion, and and lots of things happened that were blessings for me. Let's be clear. So I'm not trying to downgrade anything here, but I was just, one of the beliefs was that your body is a temple, therefore you should never have a tattoo on it. And so when I left that traditional religion,
Yeah.
it was like one of those beliefs that I had to go ask myself, is that my belief, or was that somebody else's belief that I decided was my belief? And that was a
Mm-hmm.
really hard moment for me, because I'd told people for a long time in my life, like, hey, not a good idea to get a tattoo. Like, this is your, all these things, right? And when I sat with myself, it was a really hard day to really sit with myself and just really
Mm.
go back and do that research and get heartfelt, vulnerable with myself. And what's interesting in what you're saying is, when we're not vulnerable with others, let's be clear, we're not even allowing ourselves to be vulnerable with ourselves. So we're not being authentically vulnerable with us. So when we
Mm-hmm.
get to the core of that, which is what I was trying to do, I thought this is a bunch of BS. So right or wrong, and if I don't, I'm not saying my way is the right way. I'm just saying what I came to in that moment. When I came to that
Mm-hmm.
moment, I signed up to get a tattoo. I was like, I'm doing this. And so like all this anxiety, all these fears, all this stuff came in. So the first tattoo I got was right here. And now why did I do that? Well, because I could cover it up.
Uh-huh.
That way I didn't have to be vulnerable, but I did it, right?
Yep.
And so Sunny and I
Yep.
were in a discussion one day, and she's like, you defeated your purpose. And I'm like, knock it off. I did not. She's like, yeah, you're still like, you'll still wear these when you're going to go out with your XYZ friends. You cover it up. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
bullshit. So I got a hand tattoo. Can't cover that thing up. No way. That way everybody knew. So that was the next level of being more vulnerable and not lying to myself, not trying to hide what I changed as a belief in me. So I
Yeah.
only did this for me. Let's be clear, but it represents vulnerability to me in a bigger way than anything I could have ever done.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, I mean, standing in that helped you also create that strong personal brand and like being super authentic, vulnerable with yourself, and then putting that out there for everybody else too. So, what do you think the role of branding plays in the overall success then of like, what advice do you have for entrepreneurs for standing out online, especially when it comes to branding? Yeah, I'll let you riff on that for a minute.
Okay, so number one thing, and a lot of you guys know, I style Russell Brunson. So there's a brand right there. I get the privilege of dressing
Absolutely.
and a lot of high-end entrepreneurs. So I'll just address that a little bit, because that's what I know is the style into branding more than a lot of things, unless you want to get into like every brand ought to have a, some sort of, what's the right, I can't think, let me think here for 5 seconds if I can think what it's called. Anyway, so like Nike, for instance, the swish is
Oh,
like
like the
bug,
logo.
bug element. That's what I wanted.
Yeah. Got
All
it.
brands should have a bug element to them, in my personal opinion. So if you want to get into the logo and the branding, its bug elements are critical, because the swish alone eventually becomes part of what identifies that brand. So I think
Hmm.
all logos ought to have some sort of bug element that you can put in them, put out there, that makes the brand.
Hmm.
If you want to get into fashion and style, is understand who your buyer is and the psychology of your buyer through style. Now, a lot of people push back on this and say, well, I'm going to dress any way I want to dress. I'm cool. And I'm fine with that. And I just ask them this question. So if a police officer walked into a room of people in his flip-flops, Bermuda shorts, tank top, and said, stand at attention, you're all going to get killed, what would everybody do? They'd look at him and say,
You're nuts.
you're
Yeah.
freaking crazy, bro. Like, you're a
Yeah.
fake cop. And would do all this work to prove he was a real cop. Even though he was authentic, he was doing his job, he was a real cop, would you do it? Now, imagine this. Imagine a fake cop walked in, full uniform, full everything, has a badge, what do you think would happen in the room?
They would listen to him.
We would exit. Then we would find out he's a fake cop. So we're not using our brands through the psychology of the way people expect us to show up for our brand.
That plays into the attractive character
Magnetic
for your
field,
brand.
whatever you're doing, right? So what you've got to do is you've got to think, okay, what is the psychology of the human that is watching, and what do they expect me to be? And if you don't understand that, then you need to figure that out. So like, for example, glasses. You will sell, if you're in glasses, 20% more when you're closing than if you don't wear glasses. Not fascinating?
Why?
What do nerds wear?
Glasses.
What do the most intellectual people wear?
Yeah, nerds that wear glasses. Okay.
We've all been taught since we were this little, true or false, that this means I'm what?
Smart. You're smart.
Right.
So I should trust you.
Yeah, that's right. Because I got glasses on. See, in your psychology, I don't know if you noticed before I came on the podcast, did I have glasses on?
No.
I put them on when we started the podcast. Do these even have?
I did notice that. I noticed that you put them on. Okay.
They're all clear lenses. Plus, they've got a camera in them.
Shut up. What?
Just took your picture. So they're tech. So now I'm techie. If they know the brand, they know I'm wearing meta glasses. They know I can record anytime I want. See, I just created all this status, all these things through my brand without you even knowing. But you're going to publish this somewhere. And guess what? The audience who knows, they know. And they're going to be like, whoa, that dude, he had this going on. Did you see this? Oh, did you see that? Oh, see, and I'm in their psyche before, but that's branding. That's understanding what I know more than they know. And they're going to pick up on those things because I positioned my brand appropriately. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So even when we started the conversation, I made a joke about why I didn't wear my cowboy hat. Why? Because I want people to know I live multiple personas. But if I didn't go off with, you called me the Billion Dollar Cowboy, the disconnect in somebody's mind with my brand will instantly have them trigger out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But no, when I wrap it up and I go, no, hey, a Billion Dollar Cowboy is this persona. This is how I got there. Then their mind goes, oh, but I'm also a cyclist. I'm also a bodybuilder. I'm also an awesome husband. Try to think so. I'm also a badass entrepreneur. But they're all different ways that I show up in my brand to be authentic, but I dress the part for what I'm doing. I don't know if that's where you wanted to go or if that was helpful, but.
No, I absolutely love it. I think the bottom line here is, I mean, at the end of the show, we're going to drop info of how people can connect with you, because I know I'm craving more already of like, tell me more, what, like, how can I leverage this for my business and my brand? So guys, stay tuned because we're going to let you know how to get a hold of Bart.
Let's go.
We have a little ways to go though, until we're going to get to that. Okay. So a lot of people think that ads are replacing or can replace organic marketing, but I always say that the best results happen when they're working together. So have you seen that working in your business? Have you leveraged organic and paid strategies? Are you relying on one more than the other? What's working for you there?
Okay. So I'm going to be clear out there. You may hate me for this, but my number one traffic driver in my entire career in every business that I focus on is word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth, which is organic.
Okay. Yeah.
And the reason being is because if my product isn't good enough, you're not going to talk about it. My goal is to get you to talk about it. And how I enhance it is by Facebook ads. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
The more I can get people to say, oh my gosh, I went to relive the magic. I bought this experience candle. I had this happen. I got to tell my friend. Then I have won. That's when marketing takes off. When I got to tell somebody about this podcast, you and I have hit a home run. I can't buy ads enough if I can get other people to do the work for me.
100%. Yeah.
So my whole goal in every brand I do is, how do I get the content so good or create something so good that people want to pass it. Then I can enhance it with ads and double down. So for example, in my makeup school, you come into my makeup world, you're going to see, if you go through the scroll, an eye shape finder, or you're going to see your face shape. A lot of women will go, we know, they'll scroll past it. Then they'll scroll back up. Then they'll scroll past it. Then they'll scroll back up. On that time right there, they click because they're like curious of what a professional makeup artist would say their eye shape or the face shape is. They think they know. They think they know, but they want to test it. Curiosity kills the
cat.
Right. So once they get there, they click on it. They go through, they get it. At the end, what do I ask for? Their email to get their results.
Yeah.
When you get their results back, it's like, hey, I have a free course for you that is architected around your face shape or your eye shape. Would you like? They say yes. Imagine that. So I give them the content that was built for their face shape or their eye shape. When they watch video number 1, it starts off, and I won't get too into it, but it's like boom, boom, boom. And Robert is very bold. He's a very, like, if you ever go watch the videos, you'll know what I'm talking about, but he'll say, hey, bitch, you, yeah, I'm talking to you. And like women are like, wow. But why do we do that? Because if you can't take that, you can't take Robert. We're going to get you out of the ecosystem right now. Because that's the brand.
Wow.
But if you know Robert, you're going to know that that's the lovingest thing he could ever say to you. Because he cares.
Yeah.
But we get it right out of the way because he's going to use language. He's going to be in your face.
Yeah.
But he's going to do it. That's the brand. Understand it? Okay?
Right.
So he does that and he says, do you have makeup brushes? And every woman goes, yes, I've got makeup brushes. Go get your brushes. And we teach them how we teach in our very first video. You can't get our makeup brushes fast enough to go through this course. What did we just introduce? We have what? Makeup brushes. See how I got the psychology? So we can't get them to you fast enough, but all of our brushes are painted by number. We paint by number through your whole system. So therefore, we need to number your brushes. Go get them. They go get their brushes. They bring them back. Damn, did you clean your brushes? They look nasty. And every woman like, ha, crap, no, I didn't clean my brushes, right? When's the last time you cleaned your brushes? Okay, so anyway, point is, they get their brushes up. They number their brushes. Then we introduce, as we're going through, what? Our brushes. Then at the very end, it's like, hey, if you want the best brushes on planet Earth to go through this, you'll have them in XYZ. What do they add to the cart?
The brushes, the cleaner.
No, we don't get the cleaner yet, but like I go through a process where literally I'm selling e-commerce products that I'll make $1,000 off that free course, regardless if they sign up. I don't even care because I architected the brand around the story and around what I knew that consumer wanted in the brand. Who do you care about? You. That's it. Your eye shape. That's it. Your face shape. That's it. You understand what I mean? But I also know, but what do you also care about? Your brushes. You also care about your cleaner. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so my point is, we knew what the woman wanted. So therefore, when we created that, when you're done, Jody, with that process, you will instantly share it with a girlfriend. And the reason you'll share it with her is because you're going to have an experience of painting your face because you're going to do it before, you're going to do it after. And when you do that in this 5 days, you're going to say, every woman should do this. So what do? You pass it on. And then instantly, what does that help me in success? I've got women coming in, that business, just so we're all clear, this is a continuity program. You can go still see it exists, has been out for 16 years, almost 17 years.
Wow.
Tell me how many people have a continuity program that has lasted that long, is private labeled into another ecosystem. Because I figured out the brand and how to get other humans to want to pass the brand because it benefits them and it makes them look like the superhero. Then when I run ads to that same exact thing, that feed, it just doubles it. It just doubles. Follow me?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that's,
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, okay, one of the things that I say is like ads won't fix a broken offer either, right? So you can't fix a broken offer just by sending more traffic to it. So you have to have something that converts before you amplify it. And it definitely sounds like you've done that. So from your perspective then, would you say that creating an offer that truly sells is largely based on that brand and that persona and the story, or is there something else to it? Is that it?
no. So I will use network marketing companies because that's who I study the most, because a network
Okay.
marketing company, if you go back to the premise, and if you really get into ClickFunnels, if you guys know that world, it's a network marketing company in
Mm-hmm.
essence. All of them are network marketing companies. So why do I go back there? Because if you look at a network marketing company, they have to sell it to the lowest common denominator. Now I'm not going to get
Mm-hmm.
into what that means, so figure it out. But they have to sell it. So they spend all their energy on getting Jody to watch a video that has been architected so well that when you watch it, you're going to say, Bart, I don't know why I want that goji berry from the top of the Himalayas when I can go to Walmart and spend $15 on it, and I'm going to spend $80 with you, but I want to try it. I want to try it. So they
Mm-hmm.
spend so much energy on the front end. And if you want high ticket or you want high volume, people don't understand how to architect the front ends so good that somebody else can sell it for you without having to sell it for you because you're doing all the selling.
Mm-hmm. Which
Marketing
is,
done right alleviates the need to sell. Just say.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that was
Yeah.
helpful, but yeah, there's more to how to architect those the right way to get into the psyche, to get people to move, to make them take action, because there are certain things that have to be in that. And that's why we love the hero's journey. That's why Russell uses so many other people's stories, not his own. That's why he gives
Mm-hmm.
awards away in the end. What does network marketing companies do? They give awards away. Why? I mean, all the psychology is psychology. It works across the board. We just call ours internet marketing. They call theirs network marketing. We call it, call it whatever you want. But my goal
Yeah.
is, even in affiliates, is to sign somebody up to get them to sell it so they're motivated to make money. Now, what does network marketing do? Same exact thing. So not to get on a
Yeah.
rant, but back to what your
Yeah.
question is, yes, architecting the front end is where you should spend all the energy to set the rocket off. And it takes the most amount of energy because to get that thing going takes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's gone, it takes very
Mm-hmm.
little.
You've got my wheels turning about my like front end, like my lead magnet sort of thing. And like, okay,
That's why they
architecting
call me the
that.
Billion Dollar
Yeah.
Cowboy. See, you're going to come back.
Okay. I'm going to come back and say
Art,
$1 billion done
I
and
need,
dusted.
let's go this. I need help.
Yes. All right. High performance habits,
Yeah.
work-life balance. I want to dive into that a little bit here. You operate at such a high level and I look up to that. I think it's amazing. I strive to do that myself. How do you balance business and personal life and all those habits that keep you performing at your best?
Okay, so how I do it is not how most people do it. But I'm going to tell you straight up. Number one is health and fitness first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not healthy and I'm not energetic. Nothing else matters. I can't show up in my relationship. I can't show up
Mm-hmm.
here. I can't show up for my kids. I have to take care of me like I'm Ferrari. And anybody that wants to make fun of high maintenance people, I say, well, then don't buy a high performing car, house, or anything else because high maintenance things take a lot of work. And if you
Mm-hmm.
consider yourself to be a Ferrari, then act like one. Start
Yep.
putting.
Well, Alex Sharfin, he says if you want to own $1 billion business or $1 million company, you need to treat yourself like $1 million athlete.
Amen.
And I took that seriously. I've lost 130 pounds. I've, working on recomposition of like, fat to muscle and all of that stuff. So I took that to heart.
You got it. That's what I'm saying. And then guess what happens? The leaner you get, I will promise you something, Jody, because I've seen it in every man and woman I've ever worked with in the fitness space. The more you want to be seen. Do you want to know why? Because you're really proud of yourself. It's like, yes, I look good.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Yeah.
I am a machine. I will show up. You want to go to the pool party? Damn right. I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So when we
100%.
feel that way, we want to be seen for the first time in our lives. Most introverts, when you build them into a machine, they're not introverted anymore. Why? funny thing is, because they want to be seen. They want to show. So health and fitness. Number 2, intellect. Every day I have some sort of intellectual thing that is going in my head. Doesn't matter. So health, fitness, intellect. Emotion, emotional life. Understanding how to regulate your emotions. Most people don't even have a clue how much emotion is running their life. But emotion changes the world. So it's critical. So understand so every day I walk through my emotions of the day and understand those. And then I look at my character. I want to understand what in my life is my North Star as a character. When I die and I face whoever it is or myself, I want to be able to say, would I live that life again? Would I live the exact life I just lived again? And I want to have an absolute hell yes, because I lived it at its fullest.
That got me emotional.
I do.
You struck.
Don't want to get to the end and say, hell no, that wasn't worth it. Because then I screwed the process up. I lived somebody else's stamped life that they told me I should live. Okay. So I work on character. Then I work on spiritual life, because I believe that we're organic intelligence. We are creating artificial intelligence. As organic intelligence, I am of the dust of the earth. My spirit and my divine connection to all the Google Cloud that's up there is critically important to me. I want to be able to receive and feel and understand that at a higher level, because that way I'm never defeated by artificial intelligence. It thinks it can be smarter, but it can't be smarter than what I can tap into. And I work on love and relationship. Every day, Sunny gets a text from me. Never do I miss a day. She also knows she gets a date night out of this house without any kids once a month, regardless. Yes, they're themed. Yes, they're all these things. She also gets a date night once a week with me. So I work on love and relationship every single day. I work on parenting. Not only how I was parented, but how I want to parent my kids and even my adult children that are out of my house. Parenting is critical. So every day I do something to help myself understand the connection that I want and how I want to parent and help them grow. My social life, I spend a lot of time on who do I really want to be friends with? Because what people don't realize is your social life and who you connect with can either suck or take away. I want to be around high performing people that want to take me to the moon with them and back, and have got my back. Would they bury me, or would they protect me is what I'm trying to say, or would they bury me? If I was in a bad situation, would they hide me and protect me and be there for me no matter what? And I can tell you, my social group would do just that.
Yeah.
Literally. So I work on that social life. I work on my financial life. How do I do the things I need to do? How do I manage my money? Am I looking at the things I need to? And every day I look at that in my financial, my career. What am I doing and where am I at in my career? Am I hitting the North Star that I wanted to? And so many people, Jody, have come to me and said, Bart, you should have been on more stages. You should have coached more people. You should have, and they're probably right. But in my career, I architected it with my family to where when we hit our money goals, I didn't have to go double down. I don't have the most elaborate house on planet Earth. It's a nice house, but it fits everything we wanted to do as a family. It's got an arena. It's got lights. It's got the basketball courts. It's got the fun things where it's got a theater in it. You know what I'm saying? But those are the things we architected to have an R. So my container, my tent is what we wanted.
Yeah.
Not what maybe I could have had or I shouldn't have. So, that's big to me. Career, quality of life. What is my environment? How do I have environmentally the things around me that create energy for me? Because I am an energetic system. Our second podcast that Sunny and I just did was all on masculine and feminine energy. Why energy is the most critical part of not only your sexual relationships, but every relationship you're in. Because if I can energetically be what I need to be, You won't suck from it, or you won't take from, like that way, or you'll give me, or we'll balance each other. When two energies are balanced, God, it's an amazing thing, right? So
Yeah.
with our family, our kids, it's quality of life. What's our quality of life and what is our energetic system? And that all filters into, we play full out for our family.
Mm-hmm.
So with all my high ticket people, they go through a 12-month strategy in all of this to be implemented in their life, which creates you. When you're magnetic, do you have to work? A magnet attracts. I want to be so magnetic when somebody watches this or sees me that they're like, I don't know why, but I want to be in that guy's, I want to be with that dude, or I want to be with his wife. I want to be around them. I don't even know why. What does he even offer? But I want that because I'm so magnetic, because I'm doing these things in my life that it's like, let's go. Does that make sense?
100%. 100%.
That's how I run my to be at that highest performance.
So that's a great answer, super comprehensive. As I'm listening, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to work on that. Or, oh, I haven't thought about that in like a week. So many things. So that being said, like entrepreneurs, they can run real fast into burnout, especially when scaling. So what's your biggest piece of advice then for like avoiding burnout? Cause it's like thinking about all those different like aspects could kind of sound overwhelming to be like, yep, I got to look at that every day. I got to look at that every day. I got to work on this every day, and I got to work out, and I got to eat right, and I still got to show up for my clients, and I got to blah, 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 like all these things. How do we avoid burnout?
By being magnetic. I know that sounds super, super simple. What I'm telling you is, but when you're in balance in these things, and they don't take a lot of time. How long does it take me to write a text to my wife and tell her she has a nice ass?
10 seconds, probably.
How long does it take me to meal prep for the entire week?
Oh man, I don't know. Do you hire it out or do it yourself?
I love it. Just fire the grill up, cook my stuff. I'm kind of like a horse. Horse eats grass every single day, and he's great. I can eat certain, if you're going to be in the bodybuilding world, the fitness world, it's not anything about its fuel. I look at food. Okay. So I just meal prep. I understand that if I want to work out, I know my time in the day. I'm going to work out, period. Okay. That doesn't, I can't do it at home. There's a ton of things you can do. So intellect. If I'm not learning, I'm not going to be the best in the career that there is out there. So you can either go spend 10 days at a conference, or I can spend micro each day getting better at the things I want to, and go to conferences and still accomplish this. There's nothing on this list that you're not already doing spiritually. How long does it take you, Jody, to say a prayer at night before you go to bed?
Yeah, not long. I can say a 10-second prayer, right? Like sometimes it's just like, God help me.
Yeah, right? So like anything on here, parenting, are you going to do it anyways?
Yeah, I've got 3 at home. So
I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just how I do it. In the day, I have a conscious effort of, I'm in parenting mode. Here's the thing. That's all I'm doing. So this may look overwhelming. Social life. Am I going to have it or not going to have it? Yes. But if I'm going to do it, I want to do it right.
Right.
Why not architect it? Then it becomes very uncomplicated that when somebody calls me, if Jody calls me and says, hey, Bart, I would love to meet you at this event. You know what? No, it's like Jody is my kind of person. I will do dinner because she fits somebody I want this relationship with. But it fits in my social sphere. If it doesn't, I'm really sorry, but I'm busy.
Yeah.
All these things on here I just went through, they're not hard. They're not even more time. They're not even overwhelming. It's just you've never sat down and architected your life by design. That, my friend, takes a little bit of time. That I will agree. But once you've done that, it turns you into a magnetic, energetic field that you will not get burnout in your business because you can't. It's impossible because you're aligned to the North Star. And you know that everything's going to work the way it's supposed to because you architected it by design. So once you architect your life by design, we architect the business by design. The business feeds the life after the life is designed. People go architect their business by design and try to fit their life into the design. Then they get burnout because they don't know their why. If I ask you your why right now, and I won't, but hopefully you would truly, honest to God, know what your why is. That's why Steve Jobs knew his why. And then he said, by the way, I happen to sell computers. Go look at the world's best. They lead with their why. This is my why. I believe every young cowboy ought to have the opportunity to do what I didn't get the opportunity to do. That's why I created my accountability calls in the morning. Every dollar I get from my accountability calls goes to helping young rodeo cowboys and cows. It's my cheapest way you could ever get in my ecosystem. And every bit of it goes to that. Why? Because I get up and I feed my cows every single day. I feed my horses every single day. So I might as well feed some humans every single day to get them to the next level, take that money, fulfill a dream that I wanted so badly, but couldn't afford to do. And I don't want it to happen for these other kids. So that's my gift.
That's amazing.
I architected my life, then my businesses that fit that. So if you want to be part of my accountability groups, terrific. But what you're really doing is you're supporting a cowboy or cowgirl to have success in their life, period.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
You won't get burnout when you know your why, because you're so freaking excited. I love getting up and talking to my group in the morning. Why? Because it freaking does something for somebody else. That don't give me burnout. That gives me energy, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Okay. Well, we've got this energy. I want to dive into the next section, and it is our rapid fire questions. So before we wrap up, just quick rapid fire, answer the first thing that comes to your mind. So what's one book that every entrepreneur should read?
Predictably Irrational by Dan Irely.
Okay. If you had to start over with 0 connections, what would you do?
Man, a million things come to my mind. Holy cow. If I had to start off with 0, what would I do? I would start selling, marketing. I would start some sort of marketing or find items around that I could sell.
Mm-hmm. All right. What is the best piece of business advice that you've ever received?
Architect your life by design. Don't let life be architected for you.
Yeah. If you could have dinner with any historical entrepreneur, who would it be? You can say alive or not. I guess anybody past, present, future.
Probably be Napoleon Hill, just because of all the things he's done and the things he's wrote and all this stuff. So it would be Napoleon Hill, like it's passed on. Yeah, that'd be it.
I feel like I've gotten to know you a little bit through this episode, but I'm going to ask, outside of work, well, I'll ask it this way. What's your favorite way to unplug from work?
My favorite way to unplug literally is probably, I don't know, there's so many, but probably spending time with just Sunny, like playing pickleball, doing something with her, or teaching somebody a way to just go rope or do something. Like I love being part of that kind of stuff a lot. It's probably my favorite thing to do when I'm unplugged, is just like serving somebody else to elevate one of their passions, things to that nature. But if it's just me being super, super selfish, it's probably doing some sort of sport, some sort of like activating my masculine energy. Like I love to just go fight, wrestle, rope a steer, play pickleball at its highest level, something like that. If it's just 100% me, it's just really dive into my masculine energy.
Yeah. I love that. That's awesome. Okay, Bart, this has been like an absolute masterclass in scaling, in branding, in thinking bigger, in mindset shifts, in everything that you've said today. Like so many of the insights that you've shared today have hit home for me, have absolutely been things that I'm going to take away from this and dive into deeper. And if anybody wants to connect with you, could you share with us what's the best way to do that, either to go to the next level with you or even just connect with you organically?
You could go to idoepic.com. It's got everything on there. Or you could go to weplayfullout.com, which is Sunny Nice podcast. Those would probably be the 2 quickest ways to kind of see my ecosystem, what I got going on.
For sure. Awesome. All right. If you are listening and you're ready to scale your business, knowing that you have a solid foundation is really, really key. But once you have that in place, that's when the magic of even having paid traffic come in behind that really kicks in and amplifies that. So if you want to talk about how ads can amplify what you're doing in your business, head over to my website and book a call. There's going to be a link around this video for my website and for the links that Bart shared here so that we can get you guys connected. Bart, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been epic. To all of you listening, if you've got value from this, if you've if you've heard some things that you need other people to hear, I want other people to hear it. I want to share this episode far and wide. So make sure that you rate, subscribe, review, share with somebody, and get this message out there. More people need to hear about Bart and what he's got going on. So from there, until next time, keep scaling, keep building, keep making that $1 million impact. And remember, in marketing, if you're not moving ahead, then you're falling behind. We'll see you next week on another episode of $1 Million Marketing.